go. All right. Run it back from the top. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Wednesday evening. Another edition of KnicksFanTV's Bleacher Report simulcast. Trade deadline eve. CP the franchise in the building. On today's show, we are going to talk about the trade deadline, man. Knicks putting a particular candidate on the trading block and almost guaranteeing his departure. We're going to talk about who that is and some potential options in our trade primer. Plus, we are going to recap the Brunson brilliance with somebody who knows him quite well, man. Jaylen Brunson coming through in the clutch against the Toronto Raptors in the Knicks 121-115 win, coming off of back-to-back where he put on a 40-point masterclass. Plus, we're going to recap and remember the late, great Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant. 61 points at MSG, which happened around this time about 16 years ago. So lock in. We got a great show for you. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. And today's guest, he's covered the NBA for a number of years for Slam Magazine, man. Slam Magazine contributor. We got Anthony Gilbert. All right, so lock in, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. All right, Anthony, man, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, we've been connected on Instagram for quite some time, and it just so happened that I saw you on, speaking of Kobe Bryant, the late great, Making of a Legend, the Kobe Bryant story on CNN. And so I thought it was quite apropos to speak on Kobe, because what was also interesting is in the beginning of that documentary, our guy Jaylen Brunson was on there speaking on his memories of the Black Mamba. And here in New York, you know, Brunson's rise to superstardom has caught some by surprise. I can't speak for everybody, but certainly myself has caught some by surprise. But by your accounts, you saw the brilliance of Brunson at a very, very young age, man. Just share that story for the audience.
Yeah, I was at the legendary Coach John Chaney's basketball camp. I grew up in that camp, and I just so happened to be a counselor. I want to say 2004. So I know Rick Brunson. We go way back, and his son is there. And his son is actually too young to participate in the camp. I think you had to be 8 years old. So, but Coach Chaney's like, hey, look, let him play. So he's not on my team, but he gravitates towards me because my team was fun. We had songs we would sing to put pressure on the other team and just all kinds of fun. So one day, Jalen says, hey, Coach Ant, let's play a one-on-one. And I'm like, no, you're like 7 years old. No.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, what, you scared? And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. No, go ahead. Look, your ball. And he's like, no, shoot for it. So, like, just right there, most 6, 7 year olds don't have that type of fire and competitive and confidence. So I'm like, all right, so you don't want the ball? He's like, no, shoot for it. I'm like, all right, so go to the free throw line, shoot it, miss it. It's my ball. And he's like, no, I'm shooting from the 3-point line.
7-year-old Jaylen Brunson is like, yo,
Yeah,
I'm pulling
and
up
I'm
top of the
like,
key.
yeah. So he misses, and I'm like, all right, game goes to 3, everything's 1 point. And I'm just telling him what I'm going to do. All right, check it out. I'm going to go to the left elbow, shot. So I dribble to left elbow, shoot it. I say, hey, check it out. Go to right elbow, shoot it. And the third one, I was just going to take it from the top of the key. And he says, you better not miss. And I miss. And he grabs the rebound and he stutter steps back to clear it. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And I'm a grown man. I had to defend him like a grown up. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's it. I've never seen anything like this ever. Like, ever. His confidence, his tenacity, he was just so sure in his game. And I'm like, wait a minute. So
Mm.
I win 3-0, but I'm just confused, dumbfounded. Like, where's your father? Like, come on, like, let's go. Like, so I go over to Rick and I'm like, Rick, man, I was just playing Jalen. And let me tell you something. And Rick's like, nah, I don't want to hear it. So I stop him. I'm like, okay, so you know. All right, say less. Like, I see you. I'm going to see you when this all comes to pass. But just know that I know, and I know that you know, because you now all of a sudden, get out of here. I don't want to talk about. Okay, all right. So that's how it started.
That's how it started, man. That same confidence, that same tenacity of a kid who, rose through the ranks in high school and was a very popular player and goes on to Nova, wins national championships, but
Hmm.
then gets overlooked at the big stage as a second round pick. And years later, now here he is, the captain of the New York Knicks, man. And just
Yeah,
delivering. And you could kind of see that confidence in crunch time because he can
yeah,
elevate his game like superstars do, man.
yeah, yeah. It's surreal to me to watch him because I was an intern when Rick was there.
Mm.
I
You were
went to
you were
Temple
an intern at Temple
at the Garden.
at that with
Yeah,
the Knicks when Rick was there.
yeah, with the
Okay,
Knicks.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like he and I, like I know him from Temple. He's a little older than me. So to see him play on those great Temple teams with Eddie Jones and Aaron McKee, Coach John Chaney, and then for him to go to New York, and this is like Dave Checketts, this is Steve Mills, like this is that time.
Yeah.
So I'm there and they're like, oh, you're a Temple guy. Okay, yeah, Rick, and everybody's just kind of like, yeah, cool. And it was just a good time, man. Like I just remember like, man, like this is great. Like I became a Knicks fan in 92.
Mm.
So when I get there, 99, 2000, it's a great time. But it's also, now that I'm older, I look back at my own tenacity and I'm just like, man, like I went for it and I was able to get it, you know. But it's still surreal to see them two. I'm watching the game. I'm here in Philly and I'm just like, this is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you there? Were you at any of the Philly playoff games last year? Because I was at game 4 when we took over and he dropped the 40 piece coming off the injury. We sitting right behind the bench and I couldn't believe what I was watching, man.
Yeah, so I didn't go to any of the games, but I went to some of the practices.
Mm.
So they actually practice at Temple University
Okay.
during the day. And on one hand, like the men's basketball team is welcoming Rick home and they give him like some t-shirts, a baseball cap, and he's just like, what am I supposed to do with this? I ain't wearing this. And then Josh Hart is like, man, this school's trash. And I'm just sitting there in the middle, like, whoa, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Mm-mm.
But that rivalry, that Villanova Temple Big Five, that rivalry is still prevalent. So here they are beating Philly in the playoffs, and they're practicing at Temple University, and there's no love at all.
None.
But it was cool to see New York take over Philly. I'm an Eagles fan, like
Yeah.
Jaylen Brunson,
Yeah. Yeah.
but my
Terrible.
team is the Knicks, and my baseball team is the Yankees. So I am persona non grata here in Philly, when it comes to my basketball and baseball team.
Sure. Sure, I can imagine, man. Knicks coming off the win against the Raptors and a big win against the Rockets, man. They did pretty
Hmm.
well against some of the West best. They beat Sacramento, beat Memphis, beat Denver, beat the Rockets. What's been your impressions of this team so far as they head into close to the All-Star break?
Yeah, man, I like what they've been able to do. My barometer is always like, what does this team look like in like late December, early January? And we know last year, January, they had, the run where,
Yeah,
they really solidified themselves as a playoff team. This year, I feel like they're still finding their identity, but in that, they're still a really great playoff team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I feel really positive about, what they're doing. I check for your analysis. I listen to Clyde, MSG. I hit up Jamal Crawford. Like, yo, what you think, man? So I feel good, man. I feel
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, just as you said, man, they're still trying to hit their stride. Got to get back. Mitch is going to get back soon. I think this is probably
Yeah.
after the All-Star break type of thing. Let him ease his way back as he's prepared now for with contact on the court. Then ultimately that'll shift to 5-on-5 practices. I think that they will ultimately get OG back. But for a team that just came together, trying to figure it out, still has holes. I mean, look, you're 2 games out of the second seed against Boston. You get the chance to close that gap on Saturday when they come to the Garden. Going to the All-Star break, a lengthy break. Guys who need rest, like a Josh Hart, OG, Mitch, gonna get that rest. And I think they come back in the second half very strong, man.
Yeah, I like it. And like I personally don't want them to do any trades, any moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand the business. If they are gonna do something, I would think it would be in terms of a shooter. I know you have your opinion
Mm-hmm.
and some inside information. Um, but yeah, I feel good about this New York team and I'm looking forward to hopefully an Eastern Conference run.
Brunson's rise. Now second time All-Star, now the starting point guard of the
Hmm.
Eastern Conference, man. Like just what's that been like going from watching that kid, that 7-year-old with that confidence to try to beat you on that Temple floor, coming up, making his rise in that playoff for Dallas when he started in place of Luka Doncic, and now ultimately being here 2-time All-Star. What's that been like watching his journey, man?
Yeah, it's so first of all, I was really hurt on draft day because I was like, man, like this is the collegiate national player of the year,
Mm.
proven point guard for 2-time Villanova champion. Villanova's a small school. It's
Yeah,
not a blue blood.
yeah,
However, they've been able to win championships up there in Villanova, PA. But just to watch him on draft day and just see him go into Dallas and really work hard. Um, and then to see Nico Harrison take over as GM. Nico's been watching him since, before he got into high school. So like I see Jalen. I call Nico. Nico's with Nike at the time.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, Rick Brunson's kid. And Rick's in the league. I'm like, he's like, yo, I don't know what I just saw. And Nico's like, yeah, I know. I know. I talk to Rick about all the time. I'm like, okay, to quote New Jack City, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like, so I was able to see it from a ground level and just draft day, I just felt bad because I was like, he's a first round guy. Um, but to see him continue to defy the odds, that's been his story, since I can remember because
Yeah.
he's undersized.
Yeah, yeah. CP the franchise, Anthony Gilbert, a Slam Magazine contributor in the building. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. KFTV, Bleacher Report simulcast. Everybody on the grind. If you guys are on the grind, man, it's 5:20 here on the East Coast. Type in hashtag grind on the chat and let us know that you guys are in here, man. Wrapping up the workday, trade deadline eve. Everybody trying to figure out what the moves are going to be. Speaking of moves, man, you mentioned him, Nico Harrison. In the crosshairs of every Dallas Mavericks fan right now. They're talking about, hey, if you guys want a refund, we'll give you a refund. Man, what did you make when Nico pulled the trigger on the most shocking trade in NBA history?
Yeah, I was like, whoa. Like his theory is like we want defense. So you got 2 really good defensive players,
Yeah.
with AD and Max. Like that's a really good look. But it's like, man, you just blew that up. Like, these are franchise players and one more than the other, because Doncic is younger. And
Mm-hmm.
so I know the Lakers always need that star.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to not draft their stars. They tend to make trades, even in the case of Kobe Bryant. They tend to make trades. They tend to get free agents like Will Chamberlain,
Sure,
things of that
sure.
nature. So I was just kind of like, man. And then my phone starts ringing. Cats are like, yo, Shams was hacked. I was like, he wasn't hacked. This is real. And like, I tell people, and I learned this from Jalen Rose, in the NBA specifically, they don't trade players, they trade contracts.
Mm.
So it was a money move. And I feel like defensively, they didn't want to pay Luca. He gives you 40, but he gives up 37.
Right.
And it's like, hey, he's not a Larry Bird's rights super max guy. So we gotta let him go. And at least you get something because they didn't get anything for Jaylen Brunson. So part of it is they learned from what happened with Jalen, and the other part of it is, they don't want to pay that money and they want to shore up some defense. So
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This is a career defining move, I think, for
mhm,
Nico, and we'll see if he's right. The previous two gambles he made on Kyrie and going out and getting Gafford and PJ Washington helped get them to the finals, but that
yeah.
was surrounding them with Luka Doncic at the helm. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens there. And hey, well, time will tell if he's right. I still think he has a couple more tricks up his sleeve. They need to round out that roster, but again,
Hmm.
time will tell if he is correct. And when I opened up the show, I talked about the fact that just ironically, I'm watching the Kobe story, and when I looked on your profile, I did see the tribute that you had made for him during his untimely passing. But just talk about your memories, the origin story of Anthony Gilbert and Kobe Bryant, man.
Yeah. So again, it goes back to Temple University. His sister was a star volleyball player. And she's a married woman, family, but at the time, I thought she was something special and I
Mm,
tried to shoot my shot. And she's like, listen, we're not doing that, but I think you should meet my little brother. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And she's like, he's pretty good at basketball. And I'm like, okay, never heard of him.
mm,
And meet him. He's like super competitive. And I'm like, okay. All right. And he's like, what are they saying about me in the city? And I'm like, well, they're not really saying much of anything. You're a suburb kid, you
mm.
play in Lower Marion, there's no competition, which is why you're so good. And I just saw him use a lot of things as fuel. And when he made his announcement to the league, I was just like, okay. I didn't have an opinion. I just was like, all right, I know he's better than anybody I've seen because he would hang out at Temple University
Mm.
and play against all the pros that would come back in the summer and all the collegiate talent like Rick Brunson, Aaron McKee, Eddie Jones, Jerome Allen, Kerry Kittles. He would be in the game. I'm sitting on the sidelines like, man, this is nuts.
Mm.
But, I'm just praying that I get picked just to kind of jump in one game really quickly. Like, yo, my man, we need one. But he's out there hanging.
Mm.
And I'm just like, okay, but like, sometimes you're too close, so you don't really know what you're seeing. You just know that he's really good. But by the time I saw Jalen Brunson, I was like, okay, I know I've all
You
right, I
see
know
it?
what I'm
Yeah,
looking at.
yeah, yeah.
I, I've seen this from before. So and I'd say the third person in that line is Kobe's nephew, his oldest sister's son. His name is Jet Washington.
Mm.
He's next up. He's a two sport athlete,
Mm.
Bishop Gorman, football, basketball. I don't know if he's better in one or the other. He's just really good, and it's very familiar what I see when I see his story play out. It's just a cool line that I can draw between the three people.
That's very interesting, man. How did you get involved in the documentary, in the Kobe doc?
Yeah, so producer called me because there was a local reporter here for the Philadelphia Daily News named Mike Sealski. He
Mm.
wrote a book
Mm.
called The Rise, and he basically took it from Kobe's birth to 96 when he announced that he wanted to go straight to the league.
Mm.
And in that book, they talk about my relationship and how
Mm.
I meet the family and whatnot. So producer just reached out from CNN and I was like, hey, listen, I'll do it. I'll lend my voice. I just want to make sure that now that he's not here, it's important to me and some of his friends from here that the story is forever told correctly.
The right way, no question,
Yeah,
no
the right
question.
way.
Yeah.
Like forever let it be known that this is how it went down. So that's why I lended my voice to that project.
Yeah.
So, you
Well,
know, we shot here in Philly and it was good.
yeah, well done, man. I've enjoyed the first 2 episodes so far, and looking forward to the conclusion, man. Just Kobe
Yeah.
was just one of those ones, and seeing Jalen in the documentary, I just love how it kind of just seems like he kind of took some of that Black Mamba mindset,
Hmm.
especially when he got to the league and he's coming off of championships at Nova, a storied franchise with Jay Wright, all the fireworks and confetti when they win the 2 chips, and now he's a second-round pick. And Jalen's quote in the documentary episode 1 was like, "Yo, listen, when you get to the next level, you start from scratch. Nobody cares about all that stuff." And to me, that is vital to me. Obviously, I'm not in the league. I've never been to the league. But when I having watched this game for 30 plus years and seeing super talented guys who flame out because it just seems like the ego just gets the best of them. They don't know how to be a star in their role. I think that is what separates Jaylen Brunson from a lot of guys, and it has allowed him to rise up to superstardom, is because he didn't have that ego. He had the chip on his shoulder, but he earned it. He earned it all the way to the top, man.
Yeah. So full circle. There's two reasons why he's in the documentary. So the first reason is I actually tell this story of like Jalen's mother, Sandra, and Kobe's sister being teammates on that same volleyball team at Temple University.
Mm,
That's how she met Rick. This is how they start their family. And then, so I'm like, hey, look, you got to get Jalen involved. I'm going to tell you why.
mm.
So when I see the trailer and I just send a text like, okay, you got Scoop Jackson, you got Jaylen Brunson. All right, I
Yeah.
see what you did there. I appreciate it. And they say, hey, we want to make sure we get the correct voices on this piece. The other part of it is just like Kobe was a mentor. He was on speed dial.
Mm.
I spoke with Kobe's sister, like, hey, I want to make sure I got this straight. Your brother was a resource to him since he was J high. And she's like, yes, he was. So that Mamba mentality and then him being overlooked and having to earn everything he got, he had it years in advance before
Mm.
he was snubbed on draft day. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's the reason why, and I told the producers this, I was like, no one looks at it. But now that I'll say it, I'm sure you've seen it. But now that I'll say it, the audience might be like, man, I never knew that. But that makes sense. He only wears Kobe's.
Mm.
He only wears
That
Kobe's.
makes sense. That makes sense, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a whole history behind that between the Brunson and the Bryant family. And it's just really cool to just see it play out, man. It's cool, man. This time Captain Clutch is out there, and I'm just like, man, like the other day. So I'm watching I got the Knicks app
Mm-hmm.
because I'm driving home. I'm listening to Monica McKnight. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, man, and I'm like, man, this game has taken a turn in Toronto. Now we got to fight our way
Yeah.
out,
Yeah. Now
out
we
of
got a
here.
dogfight. Now we got a dogfight.
Yeah, but it was really cool to just see Jalen like, okay, I got it, and we've all seen that with Kobe and countless other players, and it's just really cool, and I'm glad that he's finally on our team. Like he's here. Like the
Yeah.
whole Leon Rose, Uncle Wes, like none of it is surprising. When they signed Rick Brunson as an assistant coach, I'm like, yo, we got him.
We
We
got
got him.
him.
I was on X, which Twitter or what have you, and I was like, Jalen Brunson to the Knicks, and they're like, ah. And I'm like, listen, this is the answer. This is what we've been waiting for. It might be tampering. I don't care. Pay the fine, take the hit. This is it. This is the way. And everybody's like, whatever, man. And it's a thing of beauty to see it happen.
The Mamba mentality. You hear that, New York? We got the second coming of the Black Mamba right here in New York, rocking the number 11. We come a long way. And Anthony, you worked for the team from 2000, and boy, that was the beginning of the Dark Ages. You know what I'm saying? That was the beginning of the Dark Ages where every single prospect. Now I love Steph. When Steph got here, I was very excited. But after that, man, it was like, man, like, we need a floor general. Who's gonna be the guy? we couldn't find him, man. We could
Nah.
not find him after Steph, man. We got him now.
Yeah. Yeah, we're back. We're
We're
back.
back. We are back, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. And I love that, especially when I saw how we could have connected the dots with Kobe, with Jalen, man. Like, I just felt like, especially with the documentary out right now, it's very timely to bring you here, man. So, yeah, man, definitely appreciate those gems. And, overall, as an intern with the Knicks, man, what was that experience like for you?
It was surreal, man. It was surreal. Like I get there. So Rick had two stints with the Knicks. So when I
Yes.
first get there, he's not there. He's in Chicago, I think. But then just talking to Steve Mills, I'd be in the office. I'm kind of lobbying for my guy, and they bring him back. But just being there, like my first go round is just like Eastern Conference Final.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like Larry Bird walks past me, like, and I'm just sitting there like, yo, this is nuts. I'm at gate 51, which now that there's renovations, it doesn't exist anymore, but it led right to the court from, both locker rooms. And I'm just sitting there, Larry Bird walks by. I see Patrick Ewing
Mm-hmm.
walk by, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, and Allen Houston is my fraternity brother. I pledged Kappa
Kappa.
at Temple. So I'm just sitting there like, yo, Al, he's giving me the secret handshake. I'm in heaven, man. I'm in heaven.
The new
Earl
handshake with H2O
Yeah,
in his prime.
yeah. I'm like, this is nuts. And
Yeah.
then Earl Monroe, I'm like, hey, Earl, I'm originally from Philly. He's like, oh, you my homeboy. Come on, you with me. I'm like, this is crazy.
Black Jesus in here saluting you. You on cloud
Yeah.
nine, man.
Yeah, so I'm like, this is home, and the MSG will forever be home. The Knicks will forever be my team. The Sixers trade Charles Barkley in '92. I'm like, yo, I'm out.
Mm.
Chuck was my guy. I'm a kid. I'm growing up in Philly. I got ties to New York on my dad's side in Brooklyn.
Mm.
Every summer, I'm up there. I'm cheering for the Yankees because my cousins are all Mets fans. And they trade Barkley. I'm like, yo, I'm out, man. I'm out. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? I'm going with Pat. I'm going to New York.
Out of there.
We out. Me and the big fella, we out. And it worked out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you see right there, you got the dunk. That's 93. That's the
Yeah.
following year. Then we get to the chip. I still hate the Rockets.
Still hate the
Hate
Rockets.
'em.
Every
Hate
time
'em.
we beat the Rockets, I'm happy, man. Even this past
Yeah,
Monday,
man.
I'm psyched we beat the
Yes.
Rockets, man.
Yes. Hate
Yeah.
them. So yeah, man. Like it's been a good journey, man.
No, absolutely,
It's been a
man.
good journey.
Incredible journey, and closing with the we right around the anniversary of Kobe's 61.
Yeah.
You were there that night.
Yeah, that was surreal. So I was writing for Hoop magazine, which at the time and over time had been the NBA's official publication. So I'm writing for Hoop, and I used to always wear.
All right, I might have lost you. Hold on, I might have lost you. Switch your microphone. Yeah, I think your earbuds died.
My bad.
No problem. I got
Yeah,
you
so
now. I got you now.
Okay, cool. So my editor.
Oh, I lost. Go again.
Can you hear me?
Got you now. Got you.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So my editor's in the building. I was going to make a good impression. I was going to wear a suit, the whole nine yards. And I'm like, I'm coming from Philly. And I'm like, I don't feel like wearing a suit because I got up there for shoot around. So I'm like, I'm just going to do, this is, what year was that? Oh nine.
09.
Okay. Yeah. So, we were still in that Jay-Z, like button up with the jeans,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And I had on some Nike boots and a pea coat. I try to finesse it. And I get up there, I meet up with Kobe, go to shoot around. He's in a great mood, man. Everybody loves to play at MSG. And I don't think nothing of it. So I'm in the city all day, go to the game. And like by the second quarter, I'm like, he's going for it, man. He's getting 100 tonight, And the Knicks fans, most knowledgeable fans in the NBA, they're even shouting like, go for it. Do it, and I'm sitting sitting on 33rd ramp press area. So I'm not way up. I'm like mid-level and I got a great seat. And he's going for it, man. And I'm just sitting there like, this is nuts. And when he did it, I'm like, okay, I was here. I saw my man. Spike was there. Everybody was there. So I go downstairs. Spike is going to have Kobe come afterwards and edit the film. Kobe doing work, and I just put my my recorder down. They're filming for that Kobe documentary. I made a cameo appearance. I'm really happy, but I'm focused on what's at hand. And I'm like, Kobe, talk to me about MSG. Why is MSG special? Like, oh, Monroe played here. He's from Southwest Philly. Your father also is from that part of town and went to Bartram High with Black Jesus. Like, why is MSG special? And he's like, it's the last one.
Mm.
It's the last one. Like, MSG dates back to yesteryear, and it goes back to the glory days of the NBA, and the Boston Garden is gone, and the forum, Great Western Forum, is
It's
no
gone.
longer in use. So
Yeah.
he's like, this is it. And it makes sense. And players today, that's their Super Bowl. We're going to New York. We're going to
Yeah. And
play.
they certainly play like it.
They do. The Lakers, unfortunately, played like it the other day. So it was just really cool to hear him say that. And you know how it is, man. You get on the elevator, you take it to the fifth floor, you come out, you walk out on, I always thought that was cool that the garden floor is on the fifth floor of the
Mm-hmm.
building, and you only know that if you have that access, but it's just really cool just to see him wax poetic about how special that building is. And I'm thankful that we can call it home.
Yeah, likewise, man. Never take it for granted. And unfortunately, the day he passed, we were on the way to the Garden. We were headed to the Garden.
Hmm.
Me and my pops was on the way to the Garden. Knicks was playing the Nets, and the day he passed was just like one of those surreal things, man. Where like I don't remember one thing that happened in the game. I don't even remember who won. Because it was just one
Yeah.
of those things where everybody's mind was just like, man, I can't believe Kobe's going. Like nobody could believe it because he was
Hmm.
such like an immortal player, an immortal spirit. And personally, for me, I wanted to see the personal basketball afterlife of Kobe
Yeah.
because it just seemed like he was getting
Yeah.
ready to do big things, whether it
Hmm.
was on the Hollywood screen, his entrepreneurship endeavors, things of that nature. I was looking forward to seeing that. He seemed like he was very much at peace with his family and being a father, and me being a new
Yeah.
father. Like I kind of felt
Yeah.
that same energy. And so, man, I was crushed, man. I was absolutely devastated,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because we're gonna address that in the last episode.
Mhm.
So I think people will really see some insight as to like how the people that knew him best, how they were affected, and what that means going forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, man. Like I said, from the first episode, I could tell that you wanted to, really put him in a positive light. I've been enjoying it so far, and I'll be looking forward to the final episode, man. That'll be Saturday. What time is that at?
At 9 p.m.
Saturday at 9 p.m. on CNN. So you guys at home can catch that on CNN as well, man. Well, Anthony, I appreciate the time, man. And hey, you know what? I enjoyed talking about our Knicks.
Yes, sir.
But on Sunday, I'll just put it to you this way. Now I'm a long suffering Giants fan.
Yeah,
I miss my guy. I wish him nothing but the best.
yeah.
But I'm going with the final boss on Sunday, man. I'm going with the three-peat final boss. My guy Spagnolo's over there. I'm going with I didn't always want to go with Andy Reid. I was holding off.
Right.
I can't see that. I cannot see. The knife is already like 3/4 of the way in my back. I can't have him put it all the way in there. I'm going with the final boss, man. I'm going with the three-peat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're welcome on the
because
show
of-
anytime, man. You're welcome on the show
Yeah.
anytime.
Well, thank you, brother. And it's an honor, man. Like, because of that knife, though, that's why the Eagles are going to win. Because they got Saquon.
Oh my god. Yo, yo,
I know he was good. I didn't know exactly, man.
yo,
Man.
he's oh my
Yeah,
god.
I know.
man.
I'm sorry, man.
It hurts,
and I
man.
appreciate it. Yeah,
It
it
hurts.
does.
Every breakout 60-yarder, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
man. But yo, listen, man. When playoff time come or anytime, man, I'd love to have you back
Yeah.
on, man. Let's chop it up with the team, man.
No doubt. No, I appreciate it, man. And I just love how you you just show love, man. You're knowledgeable, you're connected. I love when Chuck D makes an
Shout out
appearance. You know
Ryan
what I'm
Manimal,
saying?
man.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the guy, you know what I'm saying? But, shout out to everybody in the P's, my folks up in Brevoort
Yes,
in
sir.
Brooklyn,
Yes, sir.
and everybody in Stapleton and Staten Island.
There you go.
Shout out to you. And go Knicks, man. Appreciate you.
Let's get it, man. Anthony Gilbert in the building. Anthony, we'll talk, man. Enjoy the weekend. Good luck to you, man.
Thank you, brother. Peace.
All right, man. There it is, Knicks Nation. Salute to you guys. Let me just switch my camera over. Anthony, I'm going to close you out on the Zoom. All right, man. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Hope you enjoyed that one. We're going to talk about trades in a bit. But, yeah, shout out to Anthony for sure for coming on the show, man. He's a great guest. He's been connected with us here on KFTV for quite some time. And then I just so happened I'm watching the Kobe documentary. I'm like, yo, this dude looks familiar. Tap into him. We talking, chopping up. I see the Brunson stories talking about Brunson. I'm like, perfect timing. He's a Knicks fan. Perfect timing, man. Great guest. Great stories. And how woven, how intertwined, man. We're watching this guy, number 11, go out there and go beast mode, 40-point games, 40 and 10. Not realizing he's got the venom. He's got the venom. He's got the Mamba mentality. It's full circle. We got the second coming right here. 6'1", number 11. Shout out to Mama Brunson. Shout out to Rick. Great story, man. And you guys can catch the Kobe documentary. It's great. For me, it's very sad. It's very sad, though, man. But I've been watching it on Spectrum on demand. So yeah, shout out to the Black Mamba for sure. Yeah, man. Bleacher Report, IG, man. Bleacher Report, we're gonna sign off. We'll see you on Bleacher Report on Friday. So salute to you guys, King Jaffe Joe. Salute. You know what? We'll stick on Bleacher Report because we want to talk trades with our guys. So let's talk trades on the Bleacher Report side. IG, meet me on the YouTube side as we continue the conversation over here. And everybody on YouTube, man, hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this trade talk. While we do that, well, let me shout out some of the sponsors, man. Let's pay some bills real quick. Number one, shout out to our sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Make sure you guys are following our guys at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app because obviously with this weekend being the Super Bowl, you can get in on all the action with DraftKings. And with so many sports, there's unlimited opportunities to place your first bet every day. And for new customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. And that's with our guys at DraftKings, man. Use our code KFTV for that deal. And just remember, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. As I said, this is for new customers only, and the bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. So for additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Okay. Shout out to our guy, Anthony, once again, man. That was a great guest, great conversation, and I truly enjoyed it. Yeah, man, had to bounce back, yo. Yesterday, I almost crashed out yesterday when post game was went a little bit awry, man. We had several malfunctions, several technical difficulties. So, yeah, post game was not what we wanted it to be. So I just had to splice it up together and do what we needed to do, man. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this. I'm very passionate about what we do here on KFTV and the number one show for the fans by the fans. So if it's not up to my standard, I'm not a happy camper. And that's how it was last night. Plus, I was coming down with a little something. So I was just a little aggy. I was just a little aggravated. Maybe that came across on the show. But I'm back now, back in the studio. And we good. Sound is good. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sound is good. You know what I mean? Scully's is on right. We got everything good. We got our mics set up and we ready to roll. It's trade deadline eve, so we got to get prepared. Okay? And as we talk about trade deadline eve, what are the Knicks going to do? Well, according to multiple reports now, it looks like the Knicks are going to be all but guaranteeing a trade. And here's the report. Here's the confirmation here from one Tim Bontemps of ESPN, who says the Knicks are expected to move center Jericho Sims in a deal before tomorrow's trade deadline. Sims, 26, is on a $2 million expiring contract and could wind up on one of several teams that have expressed interest in acquiring him. So the simulation is all but guaranteed to be gone. Wish him well. 26 years old, second-round pick. I believe he was the last pick of the draft when they selected him. Showed a little bit of promise, certainly a high flyer, but never really developed into, anything that you would hang your hat on and say, this is what we need to go forward with. So I think both sides, at least I know both sides are very motivated to get this thing done and get Sims a change of scenery. His camp is definitely looking to get some more playing time. There was a little bit of static as it related to how his injury was handled. There was a little bit of static in terms of him meeting with Mike Bibby last year and working on his offense. So I think both sides are motivated to get the job done. Knicks need to do so in order to get some back-end help. And we'll see what that looks like. Because if we take a look at the Knicks sheet here, their trade assets sheet, this is shout out to our guy Bobby Marks. And full disclosure, this sheet was created by Bobby himself. All right, this is not by an assistant, but here he is breaking down all the Knicks tradable assets. Now, if we look on the expiring contract side, a guy like Precious Achiuwa, I consider a guy like a Precious untradeable right now. He's playing fantastic basketball. $6 million a year. While he doesn't technically have that no trade clause anymore, I'm not looking to trade Precious. I don't think you get much for campaign. I think they still need to keep him for point guard depth. And there you go, the simulation, $2.1 million. So what can they get for a guy like Sims? Well, according to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, there are several teams interested in Jericho Sims. And he lists out the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Milwaukee Bucks among those teams. So what do we think there? He's listing out the Milwaukee Bucks as one of those teams that are interested in Jericho Sims, along with the Lakers and the Clippers. You know that the Lakers need big man help after sending AD to Dallas. So what can they do there? Is it going to be a swap? We talked about Javonte Green from the New Orleans Pelicans as a potential deal there. I think right now what the Knicks need, they need wing depth in the worst way. They need a guy that can go out there and get minutes, a guy that's going to play defense, a Tom Thibodeau type of player who's going to be scrappy, play some defense, and play gritty. At this point, I don't even care if the guy can't shoot. But Javonte Green is shooting 36% from three right now. He's shooting the ball well from three. But I don't even care if the guy can't shoot. We got more than enough offense. We need somebody that can go out there, play tough, play physical, and log some minutes. So this was one who, and shout out to our guy Trilogy, James Edwards of The Athletic, this was what he was posing as a potential swap. Javonte Green, he's averaging, what's he averaging right now? 6 points per game on 36.8% from three, 44.9% from the field. I think they need a guy like that. Because with the OG Anunoby situation, I think at this point in time, you got to look at a minutes restriction, a hard minutes restriction for OG. That's your $200 million investment. And at this point, you've got to make sure that he can get to the playoffs. So I think they need to be very, very careful with the dog in the second half of the season. Because if he's not available for you in the playoffs, all bets are off. So Javonte Green, is that a possibility? Secondly, you got the buyout market Could they potentially trade Sims to get nothing back in return as a salary dump? You trade Sims, you get some salary flexibility, and then you go into the buyout market and, hey, do you sign TJ Warren? Do you sign a Chuma Okeke? Do you sign a Torrey Craig, who just became available? He was just waived by the Chicago Bulls. Or do you sign a Chris Duarte? I kind of listed that in that order of guys that I would like. I'm not a big fan of Duarte. So could this be a backup? Could this be a buyout market contender? What do you guys think in the chat? Could be a salary dump. Shout out to Bill Navy in the chat. He says, I like a few of their G League players. Yeah, it could be Okeke. It could be TJ Warren. Both of those guys playing well in the G League. Is it a Moses Brown? Possibly. I think they need to stick with the wings, man. Be careful with the dog. We need another wing. Shamet is not going to get the job done. They need another wing. Shout out to Bill Navy. Shout out to King Joffrey Joe in the chat. YouTube side, what do you guys think, man? You know, these are the type of guys. Josh Smooth saying Kevin McCullers. I don't think they have plans for McCullers this year. You know, you guys came in and went in on Trilogy because Trilogy said he wasn't going to play this year. I think they're going to allow him to rehab slowly. And here comes Travie Trav with his Cam Whitmore stuff. There is no chance the Knicks are getting Cam Whitmore, bro. There is no chance that the Rockets are going to dump their blue chip young talent to help the Knicks. Valanciunas got traded to Sacramento. I didn't think there was much steam there on Valanciunas anyway with the Knicks. Trading Knicks for Valanciunas made no sense. But again, when you're looking at Sims' contract and you're looking at $2 million, there's not much. There's just not much there, man. I mean, if we go into hoops hype, I mean, you got to go all the way down this list of 400 some odd NBA players to see who's making even remotely close to that money. Right? You got to go dollar for dollar here. Cam Reddish, you guys want Cam back? Taylor Horton Tucker, you gotta go down the list. Dwayne Washington, Delano Blanton. Is Delano Blanton somebody you guys like? Charles Bassey. Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis? Can they get a Keon Ellis from, is this the same Keon Ellis from the Kings? He's only making $2 million? I mean, he's a guard. 6'6". They listen to him at 6'6". Keon Ellis, 6'6"? Certainly doesn't look like that, man. Was he rocking Timbs? I don't think they got a shot at Kumara either. The Blazers would be stupid to trade Kumara. And I don't think Kumara is in that $2 million range, man. You're looking at bottom of the barrel. We're shopping at the Dollar Tree, man. Josh Minot from the Timberwolves. You know, these are other guards. Craig Porter's not going nowhere. Wow, G.G. Jackson is only making $1 million? $1.8 million? That's crazy. Yeah, they put Keon Ellis at 6'6". Wow, couldn't believe that. Kumara is there, 1.8, but I can't see the Blazers trading this guy. He's playing great basketball right now. If they can get that, hey, that's a blockbuster as far as I'm concerned, based on what they're dealing with. So these are some of the guys, man, that you're looking at down here. It ain't pretty. You know, the rest of these guys are rookies on their respective teams. So, you know, is it a Javonte type of deal? Can they get lucky? Javante's at 2.4. Patrick Baldwin just got traded away from the Bucks. He just got traded in the Kuzma deal. Yeah, I don't really see too many names here. A lot of these guys are rookies. So, Jay Crowder. Does he get traded for Jay Crowder? What do you guys think here? Sacramento? Do they send him to Sacramento for Jay Crowder? Mike, are we trading Deuce for Kumara? Would I trade Deuce for Kumara? That's tough. You still need a scoring guard off the bench. You still need a scoring guard. So Trav is saying aggregate Sims, Dottier, and Washington. And the Washington first? Yeah, if I'm the Knicks, I'd be leery about giving up draft picks. If we take a look at the mark sheet here, all they have left right now is the top 10 protected Washington pick, which is really 2 seconds. That's never going to convey. They have 8 second-round picks. They have a 2026 pick swap and a 2030 pick swap. They gave up the 2025, 2027, 2029, and the 2031 unprotected first-round picks in the Mikal Bridges deal. Jay Crowder's good. Yeah, I'd do a Sims for Crowder deal. I'd do that. He's tough. I would definitely do that. He can help you. So the simulation is on the move, as confirmed by Bontemps. Begley also had mentioned that earlier this month, or earlier this year, rather. Talento says we're screwed. We're not screwed, man. We're all right, man. We're in good position. Knicks are in good position right now, man. We're in good position right now. You got the burners cooking. Captain Clutch is cooking. Towns is cooking. Mikal is cooking. After the All-Star break, you get Mitchie back. No snitchies coming back. Playtime is over. Precious is balling out of control. And how about Huckamania? Huckamania is running wild, brother. I like how give it all the Hulk Hogan talk. I like how we appropriated that name for better use. Right here on Black History Month. Huckamania, brother. We taking that one, Hulkster. All right? And all the Huckamania shirts are now sold out. So shout out to you guys. You guys went to KnicksFanTV.com and did the damn thing. So now it's up to me to get all that merch out. But yeah, the Huckamania joint's out of here. He was cooking, man. Huckamania's looking good. And hey, the organization is high on him. You heard the big boss man went to personally go to his locker after the Knicks game against the Rockets. Jimmy D is a Huckamania fan. That means he's staying. Simulation, you're out. Huckamania, you're in. Yeah. Huckamania, we got that one. Shout out to the rhyme animal, Chuck D. Huck is a steal. Definitely, man. Mike says you can sign someone. You save $3 million. Deuce for Kamara. I wouldn't be so quick to trade Deuce, man. I'm not trading Deuce. I'm not trading Deuce. No. You don't have any reliable scoring off the bench. You just signed somebody just willy-nilly for $3 million. Deuce is a cheap contract, and you're getting a good value out of that. And he's starting to play better. Yeah, Huckamania shut down Scotty Barnes last night. He was great last night, man. I was very happy to see that. So shout out to the Huckster. All right, so a couple of things. Tomorrow, trade deadline front, I'll be on with Dexter Henry at 2 o'clock. Then I'll be on with Ian Begley from 2:45 to 3:45. So at the deadline, meet me on the Begley show. If any trades happen before that, before 2 o'clock at 2:45, we'll be here discussing everything and breaking it all down. And then around 5 o'clock, we'll do our whole NBA trade deadline show. I'll have a special guest with me. We'll break it all down. And we'll also talk Knicks versus Celtics. All right? So make sure you guys keep it locked, man, between Knicks Fan TV and also SNY. We'll have it all covered, man. Speaking of the Celtics, this Saturday, the watch party is back. This time we will be at Clinton Hall 36. Knicks versus Celtics watch party. Clinton Hall 36. Doors will open at 7 o'clock. Game time 8:30. Meet me there. Meet me there, man. You can get your tickets at KFTVWatch.com or KnicksFanTV.com. All right? So, yeah, man, what do you guys think, man? Sims on the go? And who's returning? Well, let us know, man. On the number one show for the fans, by the fans, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Thanks, everybody, for tapping in. And hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, man. I got to go, man. I'm definitely coming down with something, so I got to be ready for the trade deadline show, but I had to make up for it because last night's show, we had a bum night on postgame, so I had to make up with it. Shout out to Eric Shea, franchise channel member, Mr. Duns. Salute to you, says get those likes up. And salute to Pops the Legend, says CP, are we getting wing help? Yeah, I think come hella high water, they're going to get wing help. You know, is it a Green? Is it Kumara? Is it somebody else? Or is it off the buyout market where they bring up TJ, they bring up Okeke, and go from there? You know, in the G League, they're supposed to be running the same system that the Knicks are running. So maybe you get some familiarity there and guys can kind of ramp up a little bit quickly because they're familiar with it. So we'll see, man. But either way, remember that this show's available in audio podcast format. No reason to miss it. You can catch it on all podcast formats, all the major podcast platforms, rather. Salute to the replay gang. And I'll see you guys, man. Peace.